the
Yeah.
coping mechanisms of that human connection. We're not getting it. We haven't had it in months. No
Yeah.
wonder why stress is at an all-time high, and depression and suicides, and that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And I think what's important to also be aware of is that this is a healing process. The
Yes.
the transformation, the change, the shift, it's part of a healing process. So it could be the 6 stages of healing. I mean, it's the same, it
Yeah.
means the same thing.
Right.
So I think just being gentle with the process, understand what's been ripped out from under us, like those coping mechanisms that you're talking about, because you're right. That's huge.
Well,
And
and
then,
be gentle with yourself.
yeah, for
Be
sure.
gentle with yourself. This is a time like no other. We've not been through this before. So we need to cut ourselves some slack, especially I think about moms all the time. And it's not that dads aren't having a problem, dads are having issues too. But typically, moms are the hub of the family, right? Well, a lot of moms work, a lot of moms, take care of the house, take care of the kids, and there's been so much shifting through this pandemic that you now have moms that either working from home or lost their jobs. You've got moms that are not only working from home, but also trying to homeschool their children, something that they didn't have to do before, which I'll tell you what, my daughter's 26. But what I saw happening in the school system was horrifying to me because I would sit down with her. I'm a smart chick. And I would sit down with her to help her with her homework, and they'd be doing some silly way of helping her add things called touch points. And then there were things about show your work. Well, I didn't learn touch points and I didn't learn these other show your work things. So I would know how to do the math, but I couldn't help her with the math because I didn't know how to help her show her work. And so I think about all the moms that might have 2 or 3 kids at home that they're having to do. Maybe only one computer, limited internet, all of these things. And on top of that, they want to keep their children healthy. They want to keep their family safe, and they're having to cope with all of this stuff. So moms have so much on them right now. Cut yourself some slack, girls. Cut
Hmm.
yourself some slack and cut away some of the things that aren't serving you. Check your heart. That's part of awareness, right? Feel what's happening in your body right now. What are you feeling? What's going through your mind? What feelings are you have? Pay attention to those. Your feelings are barometers telling you what direction you need to go. And so that's part of the awareness. And so we don't have to do all those things we were doing before. Find ways for the family to share some of the responsibilities. Find ways to cut away some of the rules that you've made for yourself as far as what you have to do. You get to make the rules of what you have to do. So do what you need to do to be able to practice some extreme self-care and make life the way that you need to do it so that you can be calm and you can be the best you and the best mom and the best wife and the best family member and friend that you can possibly be.
Well, you're right. And it is about
Do you hear the lawnmower?
yours.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Maybe it'll go away.
I don't hear it.
Good. It might get closer. All right, good. So we'll keep going and hopefully it
Okay.
won't get any louder.
Um,
Now I've stepped on your thought. I'm so sorry.
oh,
Be gentle with your
boundaries.
boundaries. Yeah.
It it is about boundaries, and
Yes.
that is a show within itself. There's another conversation,
Oh,
and that's huge
yeah.
because you're the master at that, and I've learned so much when it comes to setting boundaries.
Yes.
But I believe that all of the virtual world that corporate America has gotten into, and these moms now working at home and having to do everything virtually, all these virtual meetings, it has really impacted the company's culture. And that also is transforming. And to be aware that these companies and organizations are going through their process of transformation, and they're in the realized stage going, holy crap, our employees are dealing with so much right now. How is this going to impact our productivity? How I mean, they're having to regroup. Leadership is starting to regroup. There's transformation happening on so many levels right now. And so just know that by you setting boundaries, and you're also helping your company understand how to shift their culture.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you, I mean, take that advice, was great advice.
Yeah.
Cut yourself some slack, because it's really important for your mental health, your emotional well-being, and your spirit.
Yes.
So, wow. Yeah. Yeah. And it's purposeful. I think that's the thing that helps me get through it, is just knowing that it's purposeful. And even when it's shocking and it comes as a surprise,
Mm.
and you've heard me say truth is absurd when first heard.
Yes, I love that.
It is. And once it settles down, that's part of the realized stage. That's what happens in this stage of awareness, is you're looking at truth from a different angle. You're putting on different lenses. Um, so shine the light on whatever it is, become aware.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And allow it. Because awareness, you talk about presence. Presence is a hard thing to practice.
Mm.
It's almost like you have to practice allowing. And once you've mastered allowing, then you could embrace awareness and presence,
Yeah.
because it's an allowance of allowing it to be. I don't know. You can't force it when you think about awareness,
Yeah.
and really tapping into it. I look at these revelations that come through when you're in that state of awareness as messages from my higher self.
Mm.
And that creates an awakening, within yourself.
Right.
And that's what's happening
Yeah.
to a lot of people, within a lot of people. You look at humanity across the globe, I believe that is what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, awakening. That you're absolutely right about that. I that's one of the things that happens from humans getting uncomfortable, is that a lot of times there's discomfort, there's pain, there's chaos, and like we talked before, those are the conditions that squeeze our higher self to the surface, because we have to drop some of the sandbags, some of the weight from the hot air balloon so we can rise, right? And so it just shows us where certain things in our life aren't comfortable. So we start to understand what we need to release so we can make room for what's coming. And see, I guess part of it for me, I'm an optimist. And so when things are really difficult, that's the ray of sunshine. I always hold on to the ray of sunshine of the gems that are coming, and the growth that's coming. And so they kind of make the they shine through the dark clouds of the storms, and help me know that I need to just keep going forward and presence myself day after day after day. And eventually this too shall pass.
I love that. I love that. Looking forward. And so I think we should leave with maybe that call to action. And that is to realize or visualize the greatest possible outcome that can occur through what you're going through. And in this realized stage, it's really envisioning and becoming aware of the greatest outcome and keeping that alive, because only a fool trips on what's behind him. We can't look backwards. You've got to look forward and keep that vision alive.